I am so delighted to be part of this movement of paradigm shifting practitioners. Those of you that have been following us via our mailing list or on social media, you're students, been to some of our workshops, you may have heard me speak in this way before. And it's beautiful because, it's like everything that we have been preparing for and preparing our students for is for this time where we finally are able to support humanity to come into the awareness and acknowledgement and acceptance of the deep pain and suffering that we've all been experiencing. And this movement of paradigm shifting practitioners that we are very much a part of and supporting and pioneering is all about coming into a deeply rooted space of self-leadership, cosmic consciousness. Cosmic consciousness is, from the Vedic tradition and perspective, is where we stabilize into our heart energy. And this relates to the idea or the beingness of self-energy, of self-leadership. And self-leadership being when we recognize the totality and the multidimensionality of our being, that we are soul expressing this body, expressing different parts of the mind, expressing all of these various other aspects of this reality, this relative reality, which is time-space continuum where we collapse into a physical body. And we recognize this, and we're able to move from that place, be in our true essence, and speak for all the parts of us. And a part of being a paradigm shifting practitioner means that we can also facilitate this process and journey for our clients. But it also means that we have the capacity to keep doing the U-turn. And when something is arising seemingly out there and we're getting activated or something's triggered within us, we have that ability to do a U-turn and to see what that is showing us and pointing to what is unresolved and unhealed and unrecognized within ourselves. And so we move out of the shame and blame paradigm and we start to look at what we can do to tend to ourselves, that it's all really about us and what's arising for us. And so that's kind of the fundamental crux and basis of a paradigm shifting practitioner for us. And so delighted to see in this movement, as we are finally coming face to face with those deep, dark aspects of our collective psyche that we have just been pushing down and repressing and choosing not to see. We're finally seeing that come up in extreme ways. And whilst I am in complete honoring of just how painful that is for those that are directly impacted by violence on this planet in all the places that it's happening, there's a silver lining for me where it's like we're coming together as a humanity so that we can finally accept this. We can finally just see it, and acknowledge and accept en masse that this is happening. And so many of you paradigm shifting practitioners are out there reminding us and sharing this wisdom and view with the world that we no longer need to blame and shame one another, that this is an amazing opportunity for us to do that U-turn and to see what is arising out there and what that's activating within ourselves. There's so many of you speaking to this, and so many of you also wanting others, reassuring other people in their parts that it's okay to remain silent, it's okay to remain in prayer, it's okay not to have to pick a side, and that is not a sign of anything other than what it is a sign of. And no one can tell you, can judge you. Anyone that judges you for how you're reacting in itself is just contributing to this cycle. So all you paradigm shifting practitioners out there that are really holding the space and recognizing the importance of not perpetuating that cycle, that is amazing. And there's another layer that I want to share here that's really important, is to understand the sense of the burdened parts and the unburdened parts that are in our system. So we have parts of the mind. And some of our parts are burdened, and when our parts are burdened, they react from a karmic place. So they project their fear, and basically their suffering out onto others, because often it's an unconscious thing with our parts. We don't recognize that our parts are burdened and that they're there, and we're speaking from those parts. And so I am also witnessing people that are sharing from that space where it's their burdened parts are trying to reach out to people to get people to change their mind or to pick a side, and or that kind of thing, or whatever is going on. And I see that, and I honor that, and I recognize that it is what it is. And the flip side and the mirror to that is when we are coming from our unburdened parts, when we're able to recognize that we have unburdened parts and that those parts are aligned to self, and those parts of us can speak through us, we can speak for them actually, and they have beautiful intentions, and that it's okay to share from those unburdened parts. I think a lot of people are confused about this and are afraid to speak out, and this is why that part of me is making this message. You know, this is the agenda of that part of me. Is I have a part of me that itself has gone through this process of feeling shame for speaking out and being worried that people are going to tell me that I'm projecting or tell me that I'm wrong. And because this part of me has been concerned and afraid of judgment from others, it stopped other parts in the system who are unburdened from, speaking up and out about, in a compassionate, self-led way, about whatever. And so as I've done that work with that part, and that part feels safer and is actually relaxing back, I'm able to create this transmission from parts of me that are unburdened and that are not projecting out their fear and trying to shame or blame people or get anyone to do anything. It's not trying to fix or rescue anybody. This is coming from a place of self-leadership. And so I'm speaking for these parts of me that want you to know and want to remind you and reassure you that you also have unburdened parts that are aligned to you, and that you can allow yourself to speak for. And I think this is the deeper layer for me of what's going on, and how we as paradigm shifting practitioners really move into an even greater space of clarity and self-leadership and self-courage. Remember that we have these beautiful unburdened parts that we have helped to unburden through all of this amazing work we've been doing: internal family systems, energy work, pranayama, breath work, movement, sound healing. Those of you, I know so many of you out there that have done all of this incredible trauma releasing work, karma releasing work, clearing your karma, and have beautiful things to say and to share, and have a beautiful way that you hold space and you remind people and invite people, and that you're able to be with your community. These are the qualities of self-leadership. So that's what I wanted to come and share, and honoring each and every one of you, honoring all the space holders and the light bearers, all of you holding vigil in your own way, in greatest reverence to all of you doing the U-turn and looking at whatever violence is occurring on this planet, whatever interactions are occurring between people, of doing that U-turn and tending to what is arising in your own being as the biggest contribution that we can make. I deeply honor you. Love you, divine beings.